Sorry, I'm looking at my highlight. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hi! My name is Zhariya Smith, and I typically make commentary videos just like this one, so if you guys like that, or you just happen to love my beautiful face, make sure to subscribe down below and hit the notification bell to get notified every single time I post, which is on Mondays and on Fridays. And before I start, I want to say that this video was going to I'm going to censor out triggering words, at least that I think is triggering, but this is a very tough topic to talk about, but I think it's important, especially with what's going on in the world right now. But in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the sexualization of Black women in media. First off, we have hypersexualization, which I'm going to be reading off of my laptop, but it can refer to girls being depicted or treated as sexual objects. It's also meaning that sexuality that's inappropriately imposed on girls through media, marketing, or products directed at them that encourages them to act in adult sexual ways. Next definition is just regular sexualization, which is to make something sexual in character or quality, or to become aware of sexuality, especially in relation to men and women, which is also linked to sexual objectification. Another definition that's important to note is implicit bias, which is an unconscious attribution of particular qualities by an individual to a member of some social group. So there's some definitions that are very important, and make sure to keep that in the back of your head, because as I'm talking about this subject, you're gonna see what it's like being a Black woman. And as one, this video was really hard to make, to be honest.
Keeping in mind that you are defending yourself. You're defending yourself, you're defending the struggle, you're defending the cause of liberation.
So we can't get started talking about how Black women are sexualized in media if we can't talk about the history of Black women being sexualized and how that affects life now. I'm going to talk to you guys about Sara Baartman. And the article that I'm using is from the BBC, so it's credible, I promise. But Sara Baartman was born in 1789 in South Africa. Now, she died, we don't know her birth date because you know how people didn't really keep track of slaves. And she died in December 29th of 1815 in Paris, France. Another name that she had was, I can't pronounce it and I feel bad because I am a Black person, but I'll put it on the screen right here. She was brought to Europe in a very weird type of way, as opposed to other people. And a British doctor kind of tricked her to sign a contract which made her be able to be shown as a freak show person, and her stage name was I don't want to say it, I'll put it on the screen though. That was her stage name, and she was paraded around in freak shows, specifically in Paris, France, and also London as well. And the reason why, if you were wondering, why is Sara being looked at in freak shows, it's because she had this isn't funny, but it was because she had a large butt, because that was so strange to see. She had a condition called steatopygia.
Steatopygia.
Yep, that word. Whenever she would go on stage, she would wear skin-tight, flesh-colored clothing, beads, feathers. She smoked a pipe. And wealthy customers would come and pay just to see her. These extremely wealthy patrons would then pay her to come to their residences so that they could touch her inappropriately, which is prostitution, if you didn't know. And over time, people started being like, this thing that's happening to this woman is honestly disgusting, degrading, horrible, and should have never been done in the first place. She died, as I said, in 1815. However, her remains were not buried until 2002. And you might be wondering, Zhariya? Why were her remains not like buried when she died? It was because her remains were on display in a Paris museum until 1974. Yeah, so that's the story of her. It's a really sad story. I shouldn't have to tell you as to why that is wrong, but this was a beginning to the long, long line. And it's just another small story of how Black women were treated in terms of sexuality. There are many accounts and many journals of European travelers who went to Africa to look for slaves, and they were just in awe about seeing how Black women were dressed, about how they looked, which they didn't wear a lot of clothes because Africa's hot, and they noticed that a lot of tribes practiced polygamy. They had suggestive tribal dances, and they then just were under the assumption that African women were just naturally sexual. This ingrained stereotype that Black women are naturally sexual made things a lot worse for us. So in the US, Black women were seen as having they were so sexual and they loved having sex, and then this justified this is going to be a triggering word, I'm going to censor it though, but this justifies the of Black slaves, and then they would turn around and be like, oh well, all the slave women are pregnant because they like having sex with us, we can't help that their bodies are so sexual. Men. So after the Civil War, this sexualization of women continued, obviously. Black women were, it's sad. Now, this is a study that I read, and, and to continue, Black women and Black girls are always seen as sexually promiscuous, and this continues on into today. There is a lot of memorabilia that was made in the early 1900s that show Black women very sexualized, even little children barely covering themselves, which I think is disgusting, because they're children. But no one cares about Black children anyways. But very, very disgusting things.
Black women are programmed historically to be the sexual latrines of both powerful white men and disempowered Black men.
Now moving on into more and more recent times, as you can see, Black women are at the forefront of many sexual situations. If you didn't know the story about R. Kelly, I would gladly like to make an entire video about it because it's very interesting to me. But basically, it was the negligence of and manipulation of many, many underage Black women that R. Kelly was in charge of. But also, if you guys didn't know, there are thousands of missing Black women and even more than that are not being reported, that people don't really tend to care about. And I found out, which hurts me, deep down into my core, that 40% of sex trafficking victims are African Americans. Now, African Americans take up a very, very small percentage of the population of the United States. So the fact that it's 40% is almost like they're looking for Black women to traffic, because they know that historically Black women aren't looked at the same as white women are. That's why you see O.J. Simpson was scrutinized for beating on his white wife, but then when Chris Brown literally beat Rihanna into a pulp, it was, oh, well, what did Rihanna say? What did she do to make him want to hit her? Double standard. And to top it all off, for sex trafficking in Los Angeles County, 92% of sex trafficking victims are Black women. And as a person who plans on moving to Los Angeles County, that terrifies me.
What's up, it's Megan Thee Stallion, aka the Hot Girl Coach. I'm Scissor.
And now I'm going to talk about how this applies to media, how this applies to our life now. Because this is social media. I'm on social media right now. You're watching social media, and you're probably scrolling through Instagram while you're watching this too. You know, it's a thing I can't, not acknowledge. But as you guys know, Black women, whenever they like to embrace their sexuality, are often criticized and scrutinized for acting promiscuous or acting, wild and crazy. Some examples are Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, Beyonce, Megan Thee Stallion, and so many more. Black girls are often treated differently than white girls when it comes to discipline in school and in work and everything in between. Whenever a Black girl misbehaves, typically their behavior is seen as, oh, they're such a delinquent and they're just a bad person. But when a white child does, it's a mistake. And in a report done by the Georgetown Law in 2017, they found that Black children as young as 5 years old were seen as less innocent than white girls that were 5 years old. Now, why would a 5-year-old not be innocent? This situation of, Black girls being treated this way makes people treat Black girls older than what they are. Even when it comes to discipline like dress code, I was always treated differently towards dress code versus other white girls who were dress coded for their shorts being too short or wearing an off-the-shoulder top. But my school's dress code was very strict compared to the average school.
And I feel like that we are treated differently than other people, and I don't like how we're treated, and just because of our color doesn't mean anything to me.
You need to be more conscious about things that you're putting out onto social media, things that you're putting out and seeing as a whole. It is very alarming, and I obviously left a whole lot of stuff that I found out of this video because I'm putting this on YouTube. Someone might see this one day and they might not want to know all the gory details. But it's important to note that this is something important, and I know that the movement that's happening right now that I probably can't say because of YouTube being YouTube, people like to focus on Black men, and very rarely they want to focus on Black women. And I'm not discounting white women being sexualized or any women being sexualized in media because it's gross. Like what happened to Marilyn Monroe after she died was disgusting. And if you don't know, look it up in your own time. I'm not going to get into it on this video. But it's utterly disgusting how women are treated. And it's not that it's more disgusting, but it's more prevalent when it comes to Black women. And when it comes to, your implicit biases, it's not that implicit bias is when you see a Black girl wearing a scandalous bikini, you call her a hoe, but when you see a white girl wearing a scandalous bikini, she's, oh my gosh, she looks so trendy, And it's aside from cultural appropriation, which I'm not going to talk about. And then when it comes to microaggressions, you have to acknowledge that some stuff that you say and some stuff that you may think, even if you're not with the intention of being racist, that there is a possibility that a person is going to take that in a bad way. It's not that a person is genuinely racist. There are many people on social media that are popular right now that aren't racist in the sense of calling you the N. Well, some of them have.
Child. Anyway, so.
But not racist in the sense of calling me the N-word. Or any other derogatory names. It's holding your purse when you're in the elevator with a Black person. It's sales employees following Black people through stores but not following white people through stores. It's underreporting whenever Black women report being assaulted and putting them to the side because they probably wanted it to happen because Black women are so sexual. And this is all stuff I've literally seen. So like, it's not just me being like, oh, maybe like, what if, like, I'm a Black person. I know stuff that happens and it's horrible. And obviously we can't change a system that was built upon, you know, this. But we can at least try to be knowledgeable about it, inform ourselves, and no one really talks about this. I looked up the title of this video that I'm gonna be titling this, and I found some stuff, but definitely not like enough, you know? So yeah, that is my video. This is tough. I just want to note that you are valid. Your problems are valid. And I posted a video, this is kind of like a part 2 to that video, where I talk about people always making fun of Black women in media and how that's funny to make fun of Black women and hot Cheeto girls and whatever. You matter, your voice matters, and no one can ever take that away from you. As a Black woman, if you're watching this, you are magical, you are amazing, and never, ever, ever forget that. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe down below. I would really like to get to 400 subscribers. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye guys.
And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.